Hey, today I'm going to talk about the real reason that scales are important that nobody tells you. I'll see you inside the video. Hey guys, it's James here from eBassGuitar.com, and today's lesson harks back nearly 3 decades. So I'm wondering, can you relate to this when you were first starting out? You were super excited to play the bass. You're there, you're thinking, oh, I'm going to play all of my favorite bass lines and the music I love. Instead, your teacher gave you a ton of dry exercises. So I'm talking about scales, arpeggios, triads, chromatic exercises, and they were boring as hell, and you wondered how on earth they related to music. Now, it wasn't until I got further down the road that I really understood and appreciated the importance of these exercises. The reality is your favorite bass lines are made up from fragments and elements of scales, arpeggios, and triads. And these are the building blocks of music. If you can play these exercises properly, it makes playing your favorite bass lines super important. But the crucial thing is you know how these relate back to music. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take 3 world famous bass lines, start off with the bass lines, and then reverse engineer them back to the scale so that you can see the relationship. It's almost like a little circle of life, because once you see how these things connect together, it makes music so much more enjoyable. So just before we get going, I want you to know there's a completely free PDF that comes with this lesson, which will show you the bass lines and the scales that we're playing today, written out in standard notation and tab, and finger diagrams too. There's a link in the description below where you can grab your free copy. So the first bass line we are going to look at today is The Joker by the Steve Miller Band. Sounds like this. So let's talk about the notes in this riff. Starts off with 2 Fs. Then we go G, A, B flat into 2 B flats. And then we go C, D, C, C. And then we go G, A, 4 B flats, an open A, and then a G, C, F. So those are all the notes. So this riff uses 6 notes actually. So an F, a G, an A, a B flat, a C, and a D. So let's play the riff again. Now here's the thing, we don't want to be looking at these notes in isolation. We want to understand where they come from. Now, this is related back to one scale, and this is the F major scale. So what I want you to do is I want you to play a 1 octave F major scale like this. So an F, a G, an A B flat, a C, an open D, an E, and an F like that. So we can get this all within the first 3 notes, frets rather, of the instrument. So we got F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E. And then so what I want you to do is just go up and down that scale. Now, what I want to do is take one fragment of this and show you how it relates. So I'm going to take this. So that phrase there. So this starts off on the 2nd note of the scale, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, like that. And then we go back to the 3rd, the 2nd, and then the 5th note of the scale. And so you can clearly see how these little fragments of the scales, that if you were to practice this, you would actually have this within there. So check that out, learn The Joker by the Steve Miller Band and relate it directly back to the F major scale. So this is our 2nd bass line. See if you recognize this one. So that was the legendary bass line To Express Yourself by Charles Wright. So let's take this bass line apart. So we start off on an E flat on the G string with our fourth finger. Then we drop down the octave to an E flat on the A string with our second finger. Then we jump back up again to get that E flat again. So we end up with this, like that. Then we go into this offbeat pattern here. And so that is a G, an A flat, a B flat, a G, and an E flat. So put those first two phrases together. And then into the second bar now, we end up with D. So what that is an A flat, back to an E flat, and then back to an A flat. Then the next three notes are a G, F, and B flat, like that. And then to finish it off, we have this phrase, which is a G, a B flat, a G, and an F. And that leads us back into the E flat up the top of the octave. So we end up with this. So what scale is this directly related to? So this is related to the notes of E flat major. So what I want you to do is play the E flat major scale. So what we're going to do, put the second finger on the 6th fret on the A string, and then play this fingering pattern. So 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. And what we're looking for is the shapes that it creates on the fingerboard. So the notes to the E flat major scale are E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C, D, and E flat. So look at the notes of Express Yourself and then look at the notes of the E flat major scale and see how they relate. So what we've got here is an octave, the root, and the octave. Then we have the third, the fourth, the fifth, the third, and the root of the scale. And then we go up to the fourth note of the scale, back to the first note, back to the fourth, third, second, fourth. Okay, so you can see just this little descending scale. So from 4, 3 to the second there, and then back up to the fifth, and then to finish it off. So that's the third note, the fifth, the third, and the second, like that. So what you'll start to see within this is fragments of the E flat major scale. If you look a little deeper, if you're familiar with triads and arpeggios, you'll also start to see those patterns too, and what these all relate to. So let's just finish this little section off by playing with the drum machine so you can hear it in action. Okay, let's move on to the third example of this lesson, and hopefully you can see how these technical exercises are now creating music. So far in the first two examples, we've just used a scale in a 1 octave pattern, shall we say. This one goes across 2 octaves, and I want to show you how that works right now. So let's listen to it first of all. So that was, of course, December 63 by Frankie, Valli and the Four Seasons. So this riff starts off on a D flat at fret 4. We have a dead note, and then we have an E flat. And then we go on to the next string, play a dead note, and then hit the F. So this is the pattern. And then we go, and we have 2 G flats, dead note, G flat again, dead note, G flat. So like that, first beat of the second bar, and then we go to the A flat, and then do an E flat, and then drop down to the A flat on the G string, like so, and then we go back up, B flat, C, D flat, like so. This is the whole phrase. So let's relate this back to the scale. So the scale used in here is a D flat major scale. So let's play that. So D, E flat, F, G flat, A flat, B flat, C, and D, like that. So here is the interesting thing. The first 5 notes are dead simple. Then what it does is it drops down into the lower octave, plays the E flat, and then hits that lower octave A flat there, like so. And so that is the 5th note of the scale, but down the octave. And then we have the B flat there, which is the 6th note of the scale, down the octave. And then we have the C there, which is the 7th note of the scale, down the octave again. So what you can start to see is this scale pattern, but in different octaves. So this is one of the reasons why once you start getting comfortable with scales, you want to start playing them in multiple octaves, because music doesn't strictly stick to 7 notes in a scale to make the pattern. It jumps around, and that's what makes it musical and interesting. So I want to finish off this lesson by playing the bass line to Frankie, Valli and the Four Seasons, Oh What a Night, so you can hear it in action. But I really want you to encourage you to check out how those technical exercises, the scales, the arpeggios, chromatic exercises, triad notes, etc., relate to your favorite bass lines. Do let me know in the description below. Guys, that's the end of today's bass lesson. Don't forget to grab the free PDF that comes with this lesson. Also, jump over to eBassGuitar.com, check out the Bass Lab Plus. That is my private members training program where I go much deeper into all of the concepts in this lesson. There's a link in the description below where you can grab yourself a free 14-day trial. And last up, I want to leave you with one more video related to Oh What a Night by Frankie, Valli and the Four Seasons. There's this incredible fill at the end of the chorus that the bass player Don Ciccone plays. I take that apart in this lesson right up here, so click that thumbnail there. So cheers, I've been James from eBassGuitar.com, and I will catch you next time.